that's the thing. I think with the schools as well, I'm not going to knock them and say they don't talk about it completely, because they do talk about financial literacy, and they do talk about, well, let's have a market and let's try and sell lemonades. But what happens with that money afterwards? Like, we can't just keep saving it. It needs to be reinvested, and reinvested in what?
Yeah.
So if they spoke more about the different kinds of investments, that would be great.
Hi, I'm Michael Allison, Commercial Director at Roma Finance, and welcome to another episode of RomaTalks, when I meet people from across the property ecosystem. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Jaz Dhaliwal. Hi, Jaz.
Thank you. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Now, we've got a really exciting thing to go through, but before we do, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a conveyancing solicitor. Been doing that for like 10 odd years now, mum to two, and now recently I've launched a book on property.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll come to the book
Yes.
in a moment, because I think that's the exciting bit. Not the conveyancing isn't exciting. Don't get me wrong. So you obviously went into conveyancing. What made you pick conveyancing as your pathway into law?
I think it was my family, to be fair. Little children, they'll go to theme parks or whatever. With my father, we spent our time going to auction houses.
Right.
That's how my memory is of childhood, to be honest, going on site visits, commercial to resi, HMOs back then. And so naturally it was a natural progression. So when I fell into conveyancing, it felt safe, it felt like home.
Yeah.
And I just understood how to be on the other side, to be honest. And it was just like no-brainer.
So really you approach that conveyancing.
Yeah.
I've seen it through your dad's eyes, I guess, of what the support that the purchaser requires.
Yeah, the stress behind it, the timeline, all of it.
So obviously, from that property background, the auction rooms, unfortunately, are more of a thing of the past, aren't they, these days?
Isn't it? Yeah, I think you've got a lot more modern auctions.
Yeah.
But yeah, back in the days, it was like literally raising your hand up, right? I haven't been to an auction house for a very long time, so I'm not too sure. Do you still?
I think it's all gone online now.
Oh, is it?
The majority, I think there's one or two that still do in person, but not as many people did. So being a kid, I mean, I'd be petrified taking my daughter to an auction, because I'm pretty sure she'd put her hand up. Did you ever come close to buying anything?
I was a good girl, I think.
So obviously you've been in this field for many years, and then you've been in conveyancing. I think you said 10 years or around 10 years. Have you seen conveyancing change during that period of time?
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah.
I think the way I've changed has changed rather than the systems, to be honest. So initially I was working 9 to 5, and you get a lot of that kind of conversation that solicitors are slow, can't get hold of them. And it was just not work ethics for me, to be honest. And I was like, right, okay, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it myself. So I went into a consultancy program. And now I'm part of Taylor Rose, where I'm a consultant there. So now I have a capacity of taking no more than 40 files to ensure that I'm able to deliver that service. So the clients aren't saying to me, Jaz, I can't get hold of you. If it's 9 o'clock Zoom, it's a 9 o'clock Zoom. There is no 9 to 5 hours. So I think the way I've changed have drastically changed just from coming out of that system. Conveyancing itself, I think we've got a very long, I don't know how long it will be before we see the actual changes, managing packs, freeholds, leasehold transactions take several months if you're lucky, just because there's so many parties involved, and, if you wanted to vary the lease or anything like that.
I think what's really interesting is that the one word you mentioned there was service.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes is lost out when people are paying for the advice, they're paying for the assurance, but there is a service element as well.
100%.
I think you picked up on that quite early on. As I'm sure every lawyer gets asked this, as AI becomes more and more prevalent, do you see that becoming part of that conveyancing journey to make some of that improvements?
I hope so.
Okay.
It'll be nice to see AI merge into it and do half the job that we're doing. I don't know how it would be possible. For example, if there's a transaction and there's 5 parties involved and there's a chain, by the time, if I'm at the end of that chain, I've not completed until 5 o'clock. There's removal vans. There's so many other costs involved for the buyer. So I don't know if AI could have a blockchain or anything like that. I'm all for it.
I think the aim of AI in this business is to allow the human touch to be the intelligent touch.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't take away the decision making, but certainly the reviewing of those large documents and things like that? How can we make that easier?
It'll be interesting to see.
It will. Do you see, though, with more and more young people like yourself coming into the industry, there is an appetite for change?
Yeah, for sure. I think we're all for change, and there's always change, even in the way we work. Every few months, there's so many laws out, like, you know, the rent reform bill, or what was a building BSA that came through for the leases. I guess we got to move with the times as well, right?
You do, but I guess it's also about moving with what people expect. And you talked about service before, and if you're dealing with a lot of property professionals, they are very much sometimes an 8 o'clock at night or a 7 o'clock in the morning from the van or whatever it may be. And then you have the people who are working. So if you're dealing with somebody who's just buying a property to live in, between the hours of 9 and 5, if they're a teacher, they're not going to be available.
That's just it, isn't it? Yeah, you've just lost so much time just because of the kind of solicitor, unfortunately, you've chosen. I think a lot more is digital now, so you do get a lot more emails, but you'd be surprised that I still get a fax. And I don't know when I last sent a fax, but there we are.
I don't know the last time I sent a fax. Well, I suppose it takes everybody to be on the same page, doesn't it? You mentioned before, if there's 5 people in a chain, 5 different sets of lawyers, it only takes one person still using a fax or one person relying on post for it to slow that process down.
Absolutely, 100%. Like even like mortgage monies. I guess as part of conveyancing, we try and arrange mortgage monies one day working before. You have some solicitors that be like, no, we'll do it on the day. And if you're in a chain, just pray.
Yeah. Which all adds stress to your customer, I guess.
It does. And there's so much finance involved at the back end of it that just because of silly mistakes like this, sadly.
Okay, so that's the conveyancing. On to the exciting bit. So you've wrote a book.
I have.
Which I have a copy here. I feel like my best Graham Norton here. Here it is. So this is My Home, Your Home. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this then?
Yeah, sure. So I have 2 children. They're aged 6 and 8. And during different stages of their lifetime, they'd come home from school and be like, Mum, we're talking about property, but we thought everyone lived in a house. Or they're talking about the 3 little pigs and they're talking about the material that's been used, like straw. And I was just like, no, this can't be happening. So I tried to go online and I was like, no, it was like, there's so many different kind of properties. Let me try and find a book for you and we'll go through it.
Yeah.
Couldn't find any book. And so we were walking down lots of streets and I'd be like, that's a bungalow. And can you see that's a flat and it has a balcony? And we talk about all these little features. And I would write down notes and that note became the book. So when you read the book, it's actually the dialogue of how my child would speak to me, because we'd be like, oh, so if you had a loft, what would you put in there? And he'd be like, I'd have dinosaurs. I'd make it into a dinosaur room. So I tried to make it a bit more engaging. I didn't want it to just be like a lesson. I wanted them to actually learn, but learn in a fun way.
And be immersed in that world around them, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. So the page I've opened here is about cottages. So cottages are like bungalows. They usually have everything. And there's a lovely story of the mum and I think it's the son walking down, and then they've got to spot the pond, the thatch roof, the bird. But it gets them talking about property, doesn't it?
It does. And it's so nice to see, because like even when we were like walk down, they're like, Mummy, I know what that is. It's a terraced house. And I'm like, oh, that's nice.
But, there's a real clamour at the moment about real life learning for children in schools. They're taught about 1066 and the Battle of Hastings, and we all know that.
Yes.
And that's never going to change. But when they leave school or they're ready to leave school, you're right. It's do they understand money, how to manage money, how finance works, and the different property types, what that means? Probably not.
No.
And it's down to the parents to give that.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, I try as much as I can to educate my children, but I think if the school did it with us, it would just help a little bit more, to be honest. I still have adults come to me and say, Jaz, I don't know the difference between a freehold and a leasehold. Can you tell me?
Is that in the book?
No, that's not in the book, but I guess that would be the next stage.
That's for teenagers.
Yeah, exactly that. So I guess you've got to start small and then obviously build up. But those kind of things, I would have hoped that maybe have been implemented. Look, that at the end of the day, we all want a roof over our head. Yeah. And we want to need to understand what that roof kind of looks like as well. Even if it's a caravan, it should be mentioned.
Well, property types as well are always evolving, aren't they? You mentioned before about commercial to residential, HMOs, multi-unit freehold block. It's not as simple as flat, terraced, semi and detached. It's not as simple as
No.
that anymore. There's all these different pieces, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. So that book is more aimed towards year 1, year 2 children.
Yeah.
And I think that's between like 6 to 8 year olds, to be fair. And the idea is to slowly build up that momentum.
Yeah.
I do want it to go into schools. I am in a process of writing like a national curriculum, and I'm going to pitch it to the schools, and hopefully they can consider it.
It's interesting. Every time a kid draws a house,
Yeah.
it's always detached.
Yes, it is.
Isn't
Isn't
it?
it?
I think I can draw it myself now. I think that's how I
Yeah.
still draw them. But have your kids started drawing different style houses now?
Yeah. We see flats now. We see
Right.
caravans. It's nice. It's refreshing, to be fair. Just need to hear more of it.
And do you think there's anything else that children should be exposed to from a real world learning?
Yeah. So I guess financial literacy is part of it, right? So it will definitely be. I think I read in the news recently where they were going to start talking about mortgages.
Yeah.
In school. So it's a start.
Yeah.
So excited.
Definitely, yeah. We have a little book at home, which is so I've got a 10-year-old daughter, and
Yeah.
it's about different types of money.
Yeah.
And I mean, it shows how old I am. I'm then reading about cryptocurrency, and I'm thinking, she's only 10. It's all about where she needs to know, but
Yeah.
she understands a little bit about money and saving now.
Yeah.
In the sense that she won't use any of her money for anything.
Yeah.
She's a very good
That's so
saver.
good.
She's a good spender, good
Yeah.
saver. Really
See,
good.
that's the thing. I think with the schools as well, I'm not going to knock them and say they don't talk about it completely, because they do talk about financial literacy, and they do talk about, well, let's have a market and let's try and sell lemonades.
Yeah.
But what happens with that money afterwards? Like,
Yeah.
you can't just keep saving it. It needs to be reinvested, and reinvested in what?
Yeah.
So if they spoke more about the different kinds of investments, that would be great.
No, definitely. So you say your mum to teacher, how old are your children?
6 and 8.
6 and 8.
Yes.
Right, okay. So you've got your hands full at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it gets easier.
It does, doesn't it?
It does
Yeah.
get easier.
And then, well, I've said my daughter just turned 10.
Yeah.
And the last 10 years are going to be nothing like the next
I know,
10
right?
years.
Be prepared.
I'll try my best. So what other tools are you going to use? Are you going to write more books for them as you go through?
I think first I want to pitch it to the schools,
Yeah.
because that was the idea really behind the book, to be fair. Once the schools listen, at least if it's like even like one school be like, right, okay, I'm listening, I can see how this will fit into our curriculum. And then slowly, yes, build up. I want to go all the way up until university. But yes,
Let's start small.
let's start small.
Start small and get that momentum, I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly.
But okay, you're probably seeing the world through your children's eyes.
I do.
So this is where it all came from.
Right? There's a lot of whys at that age.
Yeah.
So it's all in there.
Brilliant. Just moving back into conveyancing, if that's okay. Are you seeing that the attitudes of customers have been changing over the last, or your clients have been changing over the past few years? And
Recently, first-time buyers, not seen any of them in
Right.
a very long while. Anyone that's buying, it's a limited company,
Right.
or they're transferring their assets from personal to limited. Those kind of transactions
Yeah.
are going on right now. But it's hard to see, like, not a single first-time buyer right now. I just think that's just the way the market is, the rates, the inflation. Sometimes.
I think it's certainly been, there's a good saying we use in our business, which is volatility creates opportunity. And I think in a volatile market, which it has been, hasn't it? You know, with not quite knowing what the government were going to do in budgets, and then finding out it wasn't as bad as it was going to be,
No.
or like you say, the cost of funds and the values of properties. It makes a stagnant market, which actually makes a good buying opportunity for people probably like your dad,
Yeah.
who that's the time to buy for them.
Yeah.
And then as the cost of money comes down and liquidity, there's more liquidity, the first time buyers start to come back through.
Yeah, that's so true. I guess right now I'm seeing a lot of renegotiations.
Okay.
Just after the surveyor's pack, or just after several months of thinking, because they made the offer so long ago. So where you say buyer's market, yeah, for sure.
I think the world can change quite quickly these days.
Yeah.
We used to live in such a docile world, didn't we?
We did.
But it seems that every month there's a new crisis
Absolutely.
or U-turn or new initiative that comes through. So what advice would you have to anybody now who was looking to pick a solicitor to work with on a property transaction?
So I guess when it comes to solicitors, I always ask, what is their capacity? Are they dealing with 100 files or 40? You kind of know where you are when they kind of say how many transactions they're dealing with. And I think I get so many clients ask me, that aren't my clients at the time, or like at networking events, be like, how can you ask how much capacity? It seems so personal. But I don't know. I think the thing is, you're going to pay for a service. So if you're going to pay for a service, you might as well know where you are in the line as well. So there's no harm in asking. Always ask how many people are in that team of yours in the property. Like for myself, it is just me from file opening all the way till completion. But you do have those firms where there's one person doing the onboarding, there's one person doing the title report. There's probably like 5 people, and you just don't have a point of contact. And then fees, that's another one. Because clients sometimes don't come because they're like, well, Jaz, I find you a little bit more expensive, so I'm going to go to the cheaper ones. The cheaper ones, that deal is still going ahead. Or if it's not going ahead, it's because there's like added on fees. So by the time they probably completed that, they're probably several months down the line of the transaction, and there's so many add-ons. So I guess just try and understand if it is going to be on a low fee, is that a fixed fee? There's like nothing in like size 8 that you can't see, but it is there.
Yeah. So it's all about making sure that you've got somebody who can work with you for the end-to-end transaction.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just all about communication, right? The clearer you are, the clearer they are. It should be a smooth journey.
No, definitely. It's interesting. We still get instances as a lender where the borrower's lawyer might go on holiday and then nobody does anything for 2 weeks, which,
It's a problem.
It's a real big problem. Yeah. How do you navigate that? How do you mitigate that?
I don't do holidays.
Oh, right.
I guess like the laptop is like my third child.
Yeah.
Like if I'm on holiday, I'm doing completions, I'm doing exchanges. And I think that's the thing when you're working for yourself.
Yeah.
It's something else. You're not just working as part of who you are, really. So I've never looked back then. That's how I've worked, to be fair.
It's all about the work ethic, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
You continue to work
Making
forward.
clients happy.
Well, yeah. And then ultimately, do you see a lot of them come back round if they're property investors? Do you have people who use you time and time again?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually had a call the other day to say, Jaz, probably don't remember me, but we spoke 6 years ago.
Right.
Like, oh, okay.
Did you remember them?
No.
Hopefully they're not
but
watching.
It all came back slowly once they start talking about the transaction. It's just that one person I've probably dealt with 10 names of that one person, right?
Okay.
So, but yeah, they come back, yeah.
Brilliant. And this book then, if somebody wants to get a copy for their children, where can they get it at this moment?
You can find My Home, Your Home at Amazon, at your local Waterstones and Foyles bookstore.
Lovely. Oh, Waterstones as well.
Yeah.
So you might even have a big book signing at some point.
I did. I had a Roald Dahl book signing at the museum a couple of months ago when it launched.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was fabulous.
And have you had much feedback on it?
It has. It's been really good with parents.
Oh, brilliant.
Teachers, we're getting there.
And outside of conveyancing, when you're not taking your laptop on holiday, etc., what is it that you like to do in that spare time that you might have?
Oh, I guess I'm looking at properties myself.
Right, okay.
Whether the deals stack up, whether it's up north, south, I'm always on Rightmove talking to deal sources. So, I think I can't get away from it.
Have you done some projects yourself, or is that?
I've done a flip recently in Wales, and now I'm looking for somewhere up north.
So also you've got a conveyancing solicitor who understands the other side of the coin, like you say,
For sure.
from an early age going through. How did you find that flip in Wales?
It was okay.
Maybe that's another book.
Yeah.
That sounds it.
Exactly that. It's a whole a different podcast.
Right, okay. Well, listen, Jaz, thank you very much for coming in to see us today. Yeah. And if you want to get your copy of the book, obviously, make sure that you do. I can't wait to go through this with my daughter.
Yeah, wonderful.
And thank you very much for the copy as well.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you very much. And thank you everyone for watching at home. Thank you.